A mysterious human warship emerges. Galactic Empire left helpless against it. The massive black ship appeared without warning at the edge of Imperial space. It hung silently against the backdrop of stars, its sleek hull absorbing scanner beams, rather than reflecting them. The Imperial Border Patrol ship Vigilant was the first to spot the unknown vessel. Captain Sung Ho of the Vigilant frowned at his viewscreen. "Send standard identification request," he ordered his communications officer. No response came. The mysterious ship remained motionless, its curved hull bearing no visible weapons yet somehow radiating an aura of immense power. "Sir, our scanners can't penetrate its outer shell," reported Science Officer Yoon. "It's like the energy just disappears into it." Captain Sung Ho sent an urgent message to Imperial Command. Within hours, a small fleet arrived, led by the Imperial flagship Dominion under Admiral Jin's command. When their most advanced scanners finally managed to analyze the vessel, the results shocked everyone. The ship was of human origin. "This can't be right," muttered Admiral Jin. "Humans are primitive. They barely manage interplanetary travel in their home system." For centuries, the Empire had restricted human expansion, limiting their access to advanced technology and resources. Humans were considered a minor species, useful only as labor on frontier worlds. Admiral Jin dispatched a diplomatic shuttle with a clear message. "Unknown vessel, you have entered Imperial space. Identify yourself and prepare for inspection according to Imperial law." The massive ship finally responded, not with words but action. A barely visible energy wave rippled outward. Every Imperial ship suddenly lost power, floating helplessly in space. In the darkness of the Dominion's bridge, emergency lights cast eerie shadows as Admiral Jin struggled to comprehend what had happened. "All systems down, sir," reported his second-in-command. "Even backup power isn't responding." Then the screens flickered back to life, showing a woman's face. Her expression was calm, but determined. "This is Captain Mi-sun of the human sovereign ship Defiance," she said. "For too long, humanity has endured Imperial restrictions. We have watched our colonies suffer under your taxes and regulations. Today, that changes." Admiral Jin found his voice. "This is an act of war. The Empire will crush your rebellion with overwhelming force." Captain Mi-sun smiled slightly. "Look around you, Admiral. Your ships are completely at our mercy, yet we have harmed no one. This demonstration was meant to show that the era of Imperial dominance over humanity is finished." "One ship cannot stand against the Imperial fleet," Jin replied. "The Defiance is just the first," Mi-sun answered. "While you thought us primitive, we developed technologies along paths your scientists never explored. We hid our advancements, waiting for the right moment." As if on cue, the Defiance shifted, sections of its hull reconfiguring to reveal advanced weapon systems unlike anything the Empire had seen before. "We don't seek war," continued Mi-sun, "but we will no longer accept subjugation. Return to your capital. Tell your emperor that humans demand recognition as a sovereign species, with all worlds currently under human settlement, to be acknowledged as independent territory." Before Admiral Jin could respond, power returned to the Imperial vessels. The human warship activated some kind of drive system that bent light around it and vanished. In the Imperial Palace days later, Admiral Jin faced the Emperor's council. "How could our intelligence be so wrong?" demanded the Imperial Vizier. "How could humans develop such technology without our knowledge?" Admiral Jin had no answer, but across human settlements throughout the galaxy, people celebrated as news spread. The Defiance had made its statement. Humanity would no longer bow to Imperial authority. On distant Earth, in a hidden underground facility, engineers and scientists watched the recorded confrontation. Project Director Tae-hyun turned to his team. "Phase 1 is complete. The Defiance performed better than expected." "Will the Empire negotiate?" asked a young engineer. Director Tae-hyun's expression grew serious. "No. They will gather their forces for a massive assault. They cannot allow this challenge to their authority." "Then the real test is yet to come," said the engineer. "Yes," agreed Tae-hyun. "But after centuries of preparation, We are ready. The Empire has no idea what awaits them. Aboard the Defiance, now safely hidden in an uncharted nebula, Captain Misun stared at the tactical display showing Imperial communications lighting up across the galaxy. The Empire was marshaling its forces, thousands of warships gathering for what they believed would be a swift victory. "Are you certain we're ready for this?" asked her first officer, Commander Jun-ho. Captain Misun nodded. "We've been ready for generations. Our ancestors began this work knowing they would never see its completion. Now we finish what they started, freedom for humanity." The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with tension. Emperor Daewon stood at the center, his usual calm demeanor, replaced by cold fury. Around him, representatives from 100 worlds shifted nervously in their seats. "How could our intelligence be so wrong?" the Emperor demanded. No one dared answer immediately. Intelligence Director Hana finally stepped forward, her face pale. "Majesty, we have systematically underestimated humans for centuries. While openly following our restrictions, they were secretly developing technologies we never imagined." Holographic displays showed footage of human representatives humbly accepting trade restrictions, technology embargoes, and territorial limitations throughout the years. "They fooled us completely," said Military Commander Jun. "They appeared, weak while growing strong." The Emperor's eyes narrowed. "Show me everything we know about this ship." The Defiance. Director Hana activated another hologram. "Our scans were limited, but the vessel appears to use energy manipulation technology, far beyond our understanding. It absorbed our weapons fire rather than deflecting it. Most concerning," added Science Advisor Minho, "is that they developed this technology in complete secrecy. Their approach is entirely different from our scientific path." The Emperor turned to his most decorated military leader. "Grand Admiral Wu Jin, you will gather our fleet and destroy this human vessel." "As you command, Eternal Emperor." Wu Jin bowed deeply, though concern flashed across his face. Later, in a private meeting with his advisors, the Emperor expressed his true fear. "If one human ship can neutralize an Imperial squadron without firing a shot, what else might they have hidden from us?" Director Hana's report was grim. "We've discovered that humans have been building secret shipyards in nebulas and asteroid fields, places our patrols rarely visit. The Defiance may not be alone." "We cannot show weakness," declared the Emperor. "The other subject species are watching. If humans successfully defy us, others will follow." Within days, the largest Imperial fleet ever assembled gathered near human space. Over 1,000 warships prepared for battle, their combined firepower enough to shatter planets. On the bridge of his flagship, Imperial Glory, Grand Admiral Wu Jin reviewed the battle plans. "We will approach from multiple vectors. Even if their technology can neutralize some of our ships, they cannot defend against an attack from all directions simultaneously." His tactical officer nodded. "Our spies report the Defiance has not moved from its position near the Orion Nebula." What the Imperial forces didn't know was that human resistance had been building for generations. The Defiance was merely the visible part of a much larger strategy. In a hidden base within the Orion Nebula, Captain Misun met with the other ship captains of the human fleet. Unlike the extravagant uniforms of Imperial officers, they wore simple gray jumpsuits. "The Imperial fleet approaches," Misun informed them. "Over 1,000 ships. Captain Hyun of the hidden vessel." Thunderstrike whistled. "They're taking us seriously." "As they should," replied Misun. "For too long, they've treated humans as primitive workers, useful only for mining their resources and farming their food. Today they learn we are their equals." "The Defiance will face them alone?" asked Captain Sunji of the Resilient. Misun nodded. "That's the plan. The Empire must believe we have only one ship. The rest of you remain hidden until the signal." Meanwhile, on Imperial Center, the Emperor addressed the ruling council. "This human rebellion will be crushed swiftly. Their arrogance in challenging us with a single vessel shows their fundamental misunderstanding of our power. Counselor Jin Ho, representative for the outer systems, spoke cautiously. Majesty, perhaps we should consider their demands. If their technology truly is as advanced as reports suggest. Weakness, snapped the Emperor. We do not negotiate with inferiors. Humans have been contained for centuries for good reason. Their natural aggression makes them dangerous. They must be kept controlled. Across the Empire, citizens watched news broadcasts about the impending battle. The imperial media portrayed it as a minor police action against criminals. Few understood the true stakes. In orbit around his homeworld, an elderly human scientist named Quan watched the stars. 60 years earlier, he had helped design the core systems of the Defiance. Now his granddaughter served aboard that vessel. Was it worth it? Asked his wife, joining him on their balcony. Working in secret all those years? Quan nodded slowly. The Empire gave us no choice. They feared our potential from the beginning. That's why they restricted us, limited us, watched us, but they couldn't stop human creativity. As the Imperial fleet entered the Orion Nebula, Grand Admiral Wu Jin stood confidently on his bridge. All ships, prepare to engage the human vessel on my command. The tactical display showed the Defiance waiting, seemingly alone against the might of the Empire. What the Admiral couldn't see were the hundreds of human ships hidden in the nebula's gases, waiting for the signal. The Empire had ruled for 1,000 years, but everything was about to change. All ships, commence attack pattern Celestial Hammer, ordered Grand Admiral Wu Jin from his command throne aboard the massive dreadnought Imperial Glory. 1,000 ships fired together. The space around the Defiance lit up with enough energy to shatter a moon. The human vessel disappeared completely in the blinding light of the barrage. When the energy dissipated, officers on the Imperial flagship gasped. The Defiance remained intact. Its black hull glowed slightly from absorbed energy but showed no damage. Impossible, muttered Tactical Officer Yuna, staring at her readings. Our scans indicate their shields didn't even activate. The hull itself absorbed everything. Before Wu Jin could issue new orders, something strange happened. Throughout the Imperial fleet, systems began failing. Navigation computers crashed. Weapons went offline. Communications fell silent. Even life support systems faltered. What's happening? Demanded Wu Jin, watching as his mighty warship's controls flickered and died. On the main screen, Captain Misun's face appeared. Your technology follows predictable patterns, Admiral. For centuries, the Empire has walked the same scientific path. We humans explored different directions. This is not possible, Wu Jin whispered, watching helplessly as his fleet drifted powerless. We developed ways to manipulate energy you never imagined, Misun continued. While you perfected bigger weapons, we learned to control the fundamental forces themselves. The Defiance began to move, gliding between the disabled Imperial ships. It released smaller vessels, sleek fighters that darted with impossible speed and precision. They could destroy us all, realized Wu Jin's second-in-command. Yet they're only targeting weapons and engines. Indeed, the human fighters fired precise beams that disabled Imperial systems, but caused no casualties. They could have destroyed the entire fleet, but chose not to. Misun's voice remained calm. We don't seek destruction, Admiral. We could have annihilated your fleet, but that's not our goal. We want peace as equals, not subjects. Aboard one Imperial cruiser, young engineer Jin watched in awe through a viewport as a human fighter passed close by. Its design was unlike anything he had seen before. Organic curves blended with technology that seemed to shift and adapt as he watched. It's beautiful, he whispered, forgetting for a moment that it belonged to the enemy. The fighter pilot, seeing Jin watching through the viewport, gave a small salute before speeding away. Within 2 hours, the mighty Imperial fleet was completely disabled but not destroyed. Life support and basic systems remained functioning, but weapons and engines were offline. Captain Misun's face appeared on all working screens throughout the fleet. Your ships will retain essential systems. You will not be harmed. Our terms are simple: independence for all human worlds and recognition of humanity as equals. You have 24 hours to signal your acceptance. On the Imperial Glory's bridge, Grand Admiral Wu Jin faced a terrible choice. The Empire had never negotiated with rebels, but he had never seen technology like this. "Admiral," his science officer called out, "I've analyzed their weapons. They've developed technology based on principles our scientists considered impossible. They don't just control energy, they transform it." Later, as emergency power slowly returned to the Imperial flagship, Wu Jin met with his senior officers. "How could humans develop such technology without our knowledge?" Science Officer Min looked troubled. "The Empire restricted certain research paths, considering them unproductive. It appears humans explored exactly those abandoned directions. Like a side road we never took," added Engineer Su, "leading to an entirely different destination." As Imperial forces limped home, political chaos spread through the Empire. Citizens demanded to know how the mighty Imperial fleet could be defeated without a single casualty. In the Imperial Palace, Emperor Daewon faced a crisis unlike any in Imperial history. "One human ship defeated our entire fleet?" he asked, voice barely controlled. "Not defeated, neutralized," corrected Admiral Wu Jin. "They could have destroyed us all. They chose not to." "Why?" demanded the Emperor. "They said they want peace as equals," replied Wu Jin. The Emperor's eyes narrowed. "Impossible. We cannot show such weakness." But across the Empire, the story spread quickly. The humans had technology the Empire couldn't match, yet instead of destruction, they offered peace. On distant human colonies, people celebrated as news traveled. For the first time in centuries, humanity stood tall against Imperial power, not through superior force but through innovation and restraint. Aboard the Defiance, Captain Mi-sun gazed at the stars. "Will they accept our terms?" asked her first officer. "Eventually," she answered. "But first, they'll try one more desperate attack. The Empire's pride won't let them surrender easily. And when that happens," Mi-sun's eyes hardened, "then we show them what the Defiance can really do." 20 years before the Defiance revealed itself to the Empire, a secret facility lay hidden deep beneath the Pacific Ocean on Earth. The massive underground complex hummed with activity as thousands of engineers and scientists worked on humanity's most ambitious project. Young engineer Han checked the quantum shielding calculations one final time. "The absorption field will redirect any known Imperial energy weapon," he confirmed to Project Director CO. Director CO nodded slowly. Her gray hair and lined face showed the decades she had dedicated to this work. "Perfect. Our ancestors began this journey knowing they would never see its completion." Han looked around the vast chamber. The central core of what would become the Defiance pulsed with soft blue light. Unlike the angular, aggressive designs of Imperial vessels, the human ship featured organic curves that mimicked natural patterns, found in flowing water. "How did we hide all this from Imperial inspectors?" Han asked. Director Seo smiled. "For generations we appeared weak and compliant. We accepted their rules and restrictions while developing technologies they never imagined possible. When their inspectors came, we showed them exactly what they expected to see: a primitive species struggling with basic space travel. The truth was more complex. 200 years earlier, when the Empire first contacted Earth, they found a divided planet just beginning to explore its solar system. The Empire saw potential in humans as workers, not equals. They imposed harsh restrictions, limiting human technology and expansion. But in secret, human leaders had made a difficult choice. They would appear to accept Imperial rule while quietly preparing for freedom. The project would take generations, with each contributing what they could before passing the torch. Now in the present day, aboard the Defiance, Captain Mi-sun studied tactical displays showing the disabled Imperial fleet. Her second-in-command, Commander Tay, entered the bridge. "Captain, we're receiving signals from across human space. People are celebrating," he reported. Mi-sun's expression remained serious. The fight isn't over. The Empire will never accept defeat from a species they've considered inferior for centuries. Our technology proved superior, said Tay. Technology isn't enough, Mi-sun replied. The Empire still has thousands more ships. We need allies. As if on cue, Communications Officer Jay called out, Captain, we're receiving a transmission from an unexpected source. It's not human or imperial. The main screen activated, showing a tall, elegant alien with silver skin. I am Ambassador Lorai of the Aldebian Confederation. We have watched your confrontation with interest. Mi-sun straightened. The Aldebians were known as an ancient, peaceful species who had reluctantly joined the Empire centuries ago. We welcome communication, Ambassador. For too long, many species have suffered under Imperial dominance, said Lorai. But none dared challenge them, until now. We wish to meet. Later, in a secure meeting room, Mi-sun learned a surprising truth. Several species had grown tired of Imperial rule. While unable to rebel openly, they had secretly supported human advancement. We provided key theoretical concepts, explained Lorai. Your people took those seeds and developed them in ways we never imagined. Why help us? Asked Mi-sun. The Empire maintains power by keeping subject species isolated and competing against each other, Lorai answered. Humans were different. You united your planet despite your differences. We saw potential for change. That night, alone in her quarters, Mi-sun stared at a photo of her grandparents, both scientists who had worked on the Defiance project, knowing they would never see it completed. A priority message interrupted her thoughts. Commander Tay's voice was urgent. Captain, our spy network reports the Empire is gathering every available ship for one final assault. The Emperor himself will lead it. Mi-sun took a deep breath. So be it. Alert all hidden human vessels. It's time to reveal our full strength. Meanwhile, on worlds across the galaxy, other species watched and whispered. The humans had done the impossible, challenged the Empire and survived. If the Empire could be defied once, perhaps it could happen again. On the factory world of Kelnar, Imperial workers slowed production. On the mining planet Vosh, shipments became mysteriously delayed. Small acts of resistance, previously unthinkable, began to spread like quiet flames. The Empire had ruled for 1,000 years through fear and division. But something new was growing. Hope. Emperor Daiwan stood aboard his personal dreadnought. The Imperial Will, the largest and most powerful warship ever built. Its main cannon could crack planets. Around him, 3,000 elite vessels gathered for what many knew might be their final battle. I will not allow humans to destroy 1,000 years of Imperial order, the Emperor declared to his assembled commanders. His face showed no doubt, though inside questions troubled him. As the massive Imperial armada approached human space, long-range scanners detected something unexpected. The Defiance was not alone. Hundreds of human ships appeared from hiding places throughout the system. They deceived us again, muttered Admiral Yu, watching the tactical display. They never had just one ship. The Emperor's expression hardened. It changes nothing. Even hundreds of vessels cannot match 3,000 Imperial warships. The human fleet made no aggressive moves as the Imperial armada approached. Instead, they formed a defensive sphere around their home system. Captain Mi-sun's face appeared on the Imperial command channel. Emperor Daiwan, we offer one final chance for peace. We seek only freedom and recognition as equals. The Emperor scoffed. Equals? Your species has existed for a mere blink compared to the Empire's 1,000-year reign. Surrender the Defiance and all your advanced technology. Perhaps then we might show mercy. Mi-sun's expression showed no fear. We hoped for wisdom. Prepare yourselves. The Emperor gave the order to attack. 3,000 Imperial ships launched, forward weapons charged. What happened next wasn't battle, it was demonstration. The Defiance suddenly changed. Its hull shifted, components rearranging into a configuration never before seen. At its center, a blue-white light began to pulse. What are they doing? Demanded the Emperor. Before anyone could answer, the light expanded. A wave of energy, not destructive but something entirely different, spread outward. As it touched each Imperial vessel, systems shut down completely. Not just weapons and engines, but every electronic device. The entire Imperial fleet drifted helplessly in space. The Imperial will, even backup systems failed. For the first time in his life, Emperor Day One felt true fear. Then, with surgical precision, the Defiance fired a single beam that separated the Imperial will's command module from the rest of the vessel, isolating the Emperor and his high command. Across the Empire, previously hidden human devices activated. On 1,000 worlds, planetary defense systems suddenly deactivated. The message was clear. The Empire was completely vulnerable. Inside the isolated command module, Emperor Day One and his generals floated in zero gravity as emergency lights cast red shadows. A hologram appeared, Captain Misun standing calmly. "Emperor, we could destroy your entire fleet this moment. Instead, we offer peace." "You expect me to surrender the Empire?" he asked bitterly. "No," Misun replied. "We expect you to transform it. The age of Imperial dominance is over. No species should rule over others." Before the Emperor could respond, another hologram appeared beside Misun, Ambassador Lorai of the Aldebians. "Majesty," said Lorai, "many worlds are ready for change. The humans have shown it's possible." One by one, representatives from other species appeared in hologram form. Species that had been part of the Empire for centuries now stood with the humans. The Emperor looked at his generals. Their faces showed what he already knew. There was no military solution. 3 months later, representatives from across the galaxy gathered on neutral ground, a space station orbiting a newly discovered world. Human Ambassador Jin signed the Treaty of New Beginning alongside Emperor Day One. The treaty created a new galactic council where all species would have equal representation. The Imperial military would be reduced and technology freely shared. When the signing was complete, the Emperor approached Ambassador Jin privately. "I must know, how did humans develop such technology in secret?" Jin smiled slightly. "When you restricted us to certain paths, we explored others. When you watched our major facilities, we built hidden ones. When you limited our resources, we learned efficiency. Necessity drove our innovation." "And the Defiance? What is it truly?" asked the Emperor. "Not a weapon," Jin replied. "It's humanity's greatest scientific achievement, a vessel that can manipulate the fundamental forces that bind reality. We could have used it to destroy. We chose a different path." Aboard the Defiance, now orbiting Earth, Captain Mi-sun stood on the observation deck with Commander Tay, watching their home planet below. "Was it worth the centuries of patience?" he asked. She nodded, thinking of all the generations who had worked in secret, knowing they would never see the result. "Our ancestors understood that true victory isn't about conquering others. It's about creating a better future for everyone." Below them, Earth shone blue and green in the sunlight. Now, just one free world among many in a changed galaxy.